Elitom,
Here we go.
hello?
All right, now
Here
you
you
hear.
are.
All right. Thanks for your wonderful introduction, Angel. And thanks
Thank
for
you.
inviting me for this podcast because I love working with people around the world and also here in wonderful India. Because this knowledge in this time is very important. It's very important that the human family knows this because this is the path that will get the human being back into oneness with nature. Because the more we are nature, and the more you go from the laws of nature, the more we bring on things of sickness, illness, and disease than death. Now, in different passages around the world dealing with different ancient literature, they were talking about food freedom. But we kept writing it off like it's somebody special, some angels or something. But this is actually a natural transformation for the average human being. Because we are nature, but you just must get educated on a new lifestyle. Because nature makes laws, but man makes rules. That's why rules always change and they can be broken. But the laws of nature don't change. And once you get educated to these laws, you will then become one with the settled forces. And it's the settled forces that will transform you into perfect health, and you can continue. Now let's take the myth out of it and bring it down to earth. I'm just working with some groups just now that was on juice fasting, cleaning themselves out. And everybody is given a positive testimony by getting rid of toxicity in the body at a denser level. And there was not one person gave a negative testimony. That shows you right there that the universal laws are willing and able to help us when we let go, get out of our own way, and these forces will start bringing us into more health, clarity of thought, and then you don't have to stop from there. Now, this is the good point. Juice fasting, okay, you can see that. Then you could go to the levels of water. Then you could go to the levels of no water at all. Why is that? Because now we're in an age where science has caught up what the ancients was always talking about. They were always talking about, now they're bringing up quantum physics. And that's the physics of the small. And they're going saying everything is an illusion, just like Buddha and all of them are saying, even in the Hindu text. These are waves, these are frequencies and vibrations we living in, even our physical bodies. So when you get on this path, what are you doing? You're like a scientist now, working directly with matter, which is your physical body, and you're making it more subtle. You're taking your time, not real fast. So it could get used to going back into a more subtle vibration. And the more and more you do that, the less you need to eat, and you could go to the levels of eating nothing at all. This isn't far-fetched, it's no laughing matter now. This is very serious education. Not only myself, I accomplished this. There is people now all over the planet accomplishing this. And right now we're in an age where even the medical field is showing all the medical benefits of not eating. There's no such thing as a perfect diet. Matter of fact, they'll say the best diet is a starvation diet, and that's not even a diet. They're telling you all the medical benefits on the heart level, blood pressure level, physical level, mental level of what fasting will do when you start implementing into your life. Now, when you deal with the Breatharian levels, meditation is the foundation. Now, it's good to be here in India because one thing India got in this foundation, everybody heard of the chakra system, the energy centers in the body, the nadis, all of these different 72,000 of them going all throughout the body. These things are real because you're a system of energy held together by thought. And all meditations should have one thing in common. They should be able to clear blockages, open up these energy channels because you're living in an ocean of energy. And anybody who deals with energy work will tell you that the sickness starts in the energy field before it manifests in the physical realm. So therefore, if you want to get healing, you got to what? This is the laws again, universal laws. You got to heal your energy field in order for it to manifest itself in your physical body. So that's why living on prana is a health message. It's nothing more or nothing less. And health, we use that word lightly, but that's the word that the ancients used for holiness. Whole, holistic. This is what we're talking about. So that's why even now, we're on the revolution of one thing that I teach people, I at least teach you how to eat before you don't know how to eat, before you stop eating. Now, this is the good part. All right, go ahead, Angel.
Why don't you explain to them what is a breatharian and what promoted you to get onto this path?
Oh, exactly. Now, breatharian, that's the word I use. Breath is a word that they use in a Bible that's a popular book. You know, Adam was the breath of life. Also, the word prana means breath. You got cultures like China that use the word chi. So these are just words we're playing with, but it's all talking about the same thing. Today, they use the word life force energy in the medical field and electromagnetic field. This is what they're talking about. It's all the same thing. But when we talk about breatharianism, it comes from the ancient word anidia, and that's the ancient word for fasting. That means to eat very little or none at all. Because all religions, one thing they got in common is purity, purity of the vessel. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Because the cleaner vessel, the higher the energy. Now, this is the, because right now, the #1 pandemic on the planet is the abuse of energies. People are overeating, don't know how to eat, sedentary lifestyle, not exercising. So most diseases are preventable, meaning they did not have to happen. So people are actually committing a slow suicide through ignorance or don't have discipline on how to stop eating. So the breatharian knowledge is coming on the scene now because the need is now here. You'll strengthen your willpower. You'll strengthen your discipline. You'll start getting more mind mastery because holistic health deals with mind-body connection. So when you cannot control your physical body, that means you have no mind-body connection. But that's okay. This helps you to slowly start gaining back a discipline or some temperance, self-restraint, so your physical body can last longer, stay in good health, bring in more energy. And the more you get stronger in this system, you could go eating no food at all because the body, all it needs is energy. It don't care where it gets it from. So that's why when you really learn how to meditate, now listen at this now. You can heal yourself just through meditation. Now, I know it's a loose word, and I met people all over the planet. I've been meditating for 20 years, and they're sitting there sick. And this isn't no put down. You really got to understand what this tool or this technology is about. Because when you move the blockages again in the energy field, whether if you're doing breath work, pranayama, chanting, visualization, they all should work to the same end. And that's how you know that you're using it properly. This is good now. What's your next question, Angel?
Since when are you on this path? They would like to know.
All right, now I've been on this path.
How did it start? How did you start being on this?
Oh, okay. Now I've been on this path for 2 decades. But how this path started in the first place was I noticed that I was abusing myself. I was overweight, my body was hurting. So that right there, when you are running into suffering, that's when you start looking for ways on how to fix yourself. So this is why I tell people this is a health path, because that started the seriousness of a health journey on my life. See, this journey also deals with self-realization. I was realizing through my habits, my lifestyle, that I was abusing myself. So now I had to seek out a new knowledge on how to correct, to feel better. That's what it's all about. That's #1. #2, when I started this journey and I started to lose weight, started to feel better about myself, started to learn fasting, started to learn meditation, and bringing all these tools slowly into my life will start transforming myself, because you will go through a transformation. You're not going to stay the same when you change your lifestyle. So then one day somebody told me about people who did not need to eat. And I said, what? So I started looking for the information. Now, this is the good part. Back then, 20 years ago, when I started the journey, there was not that much information. So you could say I had it hard. I don't mean to, don't have no crying party for me, but I am one of the first fruits. You understand? There was not hardly no teachers, nobody around, not hardly no information. Now, 20 years later, you got it made. You got it made because there's so much information, the pros and cons, the do's and don'ts. And like I said, we're in an age where we got so much information on the benefits of fasting, the benefits of the sun, the benefits of taking your shoes off, grounded to the earth. The holistic knowledge is out there on so many different levels. You can learn how to fast. You can learn how to chant. You can learn so many meditations. There's so many binaural beats that you could use sound to open up your channels on the body. So I'm just bringing all this out there. But back then, it was not hardly anything. So that's why I put it upon myself 5 years ago. Humanity needs to know this information. So not only me, there's other teachers out here who made a commitment, putting their lives out there, going around the planet, teaching people this knowledge for those who want it. And again, this isn't far-fetched, and I don't have an extra heart, an extra lung. I did it because I really love it. I love being a breatharian. You understand? So, and it came in levels and degrees. You do go through a baby level. You ain't gonna be a spiritual master overnight, absolutely not. So I had many times where I went back to eating, doing this and that, because you're trying to straighten out your life on how you're gonna use it. But when you start understanding to take a full responsibility of your life, that you are a creator. So once you start understanding that, this is where it gets good. It's not scary. I start recreating my life to support the new idea that I want to have. You understand? That's why it starts out slowly. You got to recreate your life to support the new idea that you have. Because right now, you don't know how to go for a long time without eating. You wouldn't even know what to do with yourself. Most people eat out of emotions and boredom. They do. But when you learn how to live this way, it's a whole nother ballgame. All right, Angel.
So the question after this comes, I mean, to anybody's mind would be, if they're not used to any kind of meditation or fitness, how does one get started, you know?
Oh, how one gets started? Well, this is why we're in a good age again. I travel all around the world, and everywhere I go, there's some type of, if you want to get into something, that's there. What I mean is, right now, yoga is like a household name all around the planet. Energy work is like a household name. We got the internet and technology that's at an all new level. You could get a teacher right online. You understand? So when we say how you get started, you want to start out slow and go for the strong point first so you can build up your confidence. Because that's what you're doing. You can do it, but you must build up your confidence, because our belief system, humanity's belief system, has been broken. When you first hear that you can go living without food and you never heard it, you might say no way, because you never heard it before. Especially when you're stuck in the food, you can't see it. But when you start slowly and start working on yourself, this is why this is called self-realization. It ain't about, see, when you go off of somebody else's testimony, that's what they call a belief system. You're just believing somebody else. But when you start doing the experience yourself, start improving yourself, start transforming yourself, because you will transform if you stay consistent in any type of avenue. Any diet change will change you. You understand? It's a belief system again. You start doing something differently by walking more, exercising 3 times a week if you haven't been doing it before. Your physical body is going to transform, and the thing that's going to come out of your mouth is, I got more energy now, or I feel like it, than I had before. So that's what we mean by you just gained more prana. Now you start tweaking your game once you start seeing yourself transform. So even when I got to a certain level, when I was like 160 pounds and I was on a breatharian journey, I start tweaking my game even more and start going longer periods of time, start breaking up the fluids and all of this stuff. And my body just kept transforming and transforming. And your weight would get to a point where it will stagnate itself. It will pick up enough subtle energy or enough light where it will start sustaining itself. So this is the difference between living on prana and fasting. But just like lifting weights in the gym, you just don't go to the gym one day and all of a sudden you're going to be competing around the world. Absolutely not. You got to get a routine where you at least stay consistent to watch the muscle to grow. The rest is just as important in the breakdown. So many people, they get the wrong idea. They think they're going to fast their way into being pranic. It doesn't work like that. Because again, we're saying that you got to break up blockages, right? Now, listen at this. There's traumas that's still blocking light coming into the body, and it could be from something that happened in your past. Now, that stuff will start coming up out of you. See, there's invisible forces that we're connected to that you can't see with the physical eyes, and they can be blocking the energy coming into the body. Your body remembers it because it put it away. This is why this is a deep healing transition. This isn't no game. This is what? A high vibration to its finest when you really start understanding this. So you start asking for forgiveness, you start forgiving yourself. All this stuff takes place in gratitude also as you start healing and transforming yourself. Is this making sense? All right, any more questions?
Yes, so there are questions coming up in the chat. So Neeraj asks, is this something that anyone can do, or is this only for certain specific people? And there's another question from Charles, who's saying that how was your transition period from fasting to never eating again? And what happened to your body, mind after 40 days of water fasting? He was weak, dizzy, and extremely thin.
Oh, wonderful. Those are all three good questions. Now, the first one was, repeat that one more time.
That is this something everyone can do or only certain specific?
Oh, absolutely. See, everybody is being sustained by the subtle forces. It's just that most of humanity is unaware of it. The average person is getting about 10% life force energy. That's a metaphysical knowledge. They say there's a silver cord coming to the top of the head, coming into the body. And it's sort of like everybody's like a puppet on a string, and that life force energy is coming into everybody. And that's the thing that's supporting you, not the food you're eating. It's just that you're unaware of it. So that's why meditation is the foundation, because you want to strengthen that energy channel or make that energy channel bigger so you could get more light into your central nervous system. I'm going to tell you where it's at, your spinal cord. Your spinal cord looks just like a tree with no leaves when you look at it. Go get any medical book. That's where they get the tree of life from. But that tree is nourished by the forces around it. It ain't got nothing to do with you put into your body. But again, you must strengthen that tree, put it into the right environment, just like a tree out in the world or a plant. And that's why they call it energy cultivation. Cultivation is a gardening word. You know, when you make sure it got the right sunlight, you make sure it's in the right atmosphere, you make sure it's around the right people. We're the same way. You're sensitive and you got to give yourself room to grow. So this information is for everybody, but you must catch it on different levels of where you at. You understand? Some people are more advanced than others. Some people never exercised before. Some people have been overweight all their life. So it's still for them, but they just have to grab it at another angle. You understand? But when you deal with human development, and this is what this is, it's for everybody. Now, the next question is, what was the next one?
How was your transition?
And how was my transition? Now, this is the deal. The physical body, depending on your dedication, can get there fast. The physical body is not the problem. The battle is in the mental mind. Now, for my transition, it went fast for the simple fact I dedicated my life to this. That's just me. You understand? So I was even in a situation where I lived by myself for decades. You understand? Working on myself. So I had good time to work on myself. My desires were low compared to other people's desires was real high. Now, for me, it went quick, but I still had to work out things on my mental mind on how to place it, because keep in mind, I'm one of the first fruits. So a lot of things that I give people on this knowledge is coming from true life experience and ain't coming from no book. But somebody had to figure it out in order to tell you. So that's why it's sort of like, right now they can make a diamond in a laboratory. But when they first made the first diamond, it took longer. But once that matrix was in the atmosphere, you can make them a lot quicker now. So it's the same with people. When a new skill is learned, first it takes a lot longer for it to get developed. But once one person develops it, then after that, everybody else will go a lot quicker. So that's why the breatharian transition is going to be a lot quicker for a lot of people due to the people that came before you who's already been playing with the idea. You understand? Because we're all one in the matrix. And once one person transforms in the matrix, it makes the energy lighter in the atmosphere, the information lighter for the next generation and the generations after that. So right now it does take quick, but remember when you deal with the universal laws, everything is mental, everything is mind. There really isn't no physical matter. Everything is consciousness. So when you're working on, you're actually bringing your consciousness to control your physical body and understand they're one and the same. And any change you make on a physical body actually changes your thinking. And every time you change your thinking, it actually changes your physical body. They're one and the same. So on making this transition, you will be surprised how fast it will go. But don't put no stress on yourself that I'm going to do this in 1 month. I'm going to do this in 6 months. This is a lifestyle. Take that stress off you and just go ahead and live the lifestyle, and you'd be surprised how far you came. Any more questions? What's the next question?
I would like to add here, something.
Yes.
If you are in that kind of a group, it helps. Like if you're with, with a Breatharian, it's
right.
just, you're just taken in that stride,
So, oh, absolutely. The people around you mean a lot. So
yeah.
That's why I said too, I'm glad you brought that up, Angel. For me, the transition was easy because not only I wanted it, I had control enough in my life where I can dictate who I'll hang with and who will be around me. So I was always in that type of situation. And there was times I had to live and learn, or this group of people is kind of wrong for me to be around if I want to accomplish this. So I had to remove myself and learn the mix and match. So now I know without a clear thought, there is a saying that says what? Birds that flock together or whatever, something like that. Right, you got to get with people who support your idea. You'll go a lot quicker. Now, what's that next question?
Right. So I don't know if that answers your question, Charles, but if not, you can, type something in the chat window. Anjana, you can continue, and I will maybe take a look at that.
Now, I do want to bring this up.
Okay.
I do want to bring this up. Now, that group we were just working with, me and Angel, dealing with Harsh with the veterinary clinic, and they went on a juice fast. Now, this was good because they brought me in to do some talking for them, teaching them about Breatharianism, but they were doing the juice fast to what? Pick up their belief system, pick up their confidence. See, sometimes you can hear the Breatharian knowledge, and sometimes people try to jump too fast. They never fasted before, and they try to jump straight in. And what happens is you can break your belief system or make your belief system, it'll become hard on you because you felt that you failed. See, keep in mind that this is a journey to love yourself again. This is about self-love. You want to start where you at and start slowly so you can build back up your confidence that you can do it. So any level you start at, you have at least got started. But like I said, once your body start downloading that memo through repetition, you'd be surprised because this is a bio computer, a bio machine. Wherever you start giving it to it repetitiously, it will pick up that new habit and it will go quick. Now for the one young man who said he did a water fast for 40 days, he was weak and tired. Well, that probably was your first one. Of course you were. And of course you're going to feel weak and tired when you're healing yourself. See, when you're healing yourself, the sickness is going to get worse before you heal. Let me repeat. It's going to get worse, because that's what they call healing pains or healing crisis. You're going to go through that. So that's why people will come on a journey. Well, why do I feel like this? And why the energy? Because you're healing. But once your body get used to it and start healing itself, you understand, then it can start pulling the energies that it needs in order to get it stronger. So you are a creator, a God. But dealing with a God, not only you're creating, you're also tearing stuff down. You're rebuilding, you're remaking yourself constantly. So you're going through ups and downs as you're working on yourself on this path. But as you tearing stuff down, you're rebuilding a new stomach. You're rebuilding a new skin. You're rebuilding a new liver. All of this, because cells do die off and bring forth new cells. You understand? So you're watching this whole process take place. Your eyes start getting clear over a period of time. Your skin starts shining. Your hair starts changing. You start having more energy, and all of this stuff. But you got to give yourself time to start loving yourself. This is the pranic journey.
So Elitom, Charles seems to have had a different experience, where he says that after 40 days, he was weak, dizzy, and extremely thin. Although he was meditating, he was doing qigong. Should he have just continued, and would the body have taken over and stabilized, or what should he have done at that point?
Well, actually, I thought I answered that just now. Now, that was his first time fasting, and he was real weak and stuff. Okay, that's all you can handle. You understand? So what did you do after that? Now, this is what I want to hear. Because I don't know your lifestyle. That's just something you're telling me. People want me to answer these questions, and I really don't know what you did.
He's saying
I don't even know what your current health was.
He's been fasting for 2 years. Fasting for 2 years.
Okay. Now, how do you feel you are health-wise? Are you overweight? See, you gotta put all that in the equation for me to answer this. I see people talk about, I've been fasting for 30 days, or I fast every other day, and I'm looking at them. They got double chins and stuff, and in my mind, no, you haven't. You understand? Again, this is a health message. If your body got to that point where it was still weak and couldn't handle it, you're not ready to let go or nothing like that. You just should have went back to a more subtle, healthy diet until your body got stronger and just kept on fasting, once a week in your lifestyle till you got stronger. You understand? Don't try to push something you can't handle. Did that answer it? Hello?
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
What benefits do you get without eating? I mean, why should we not eat? That's his question.
Oh, okay. Now, this is the good part. I'm glad you brought that up. What benefits you get? Now, if all you know is eating in your life, you wouldn't know. You understand? But when you start feeling that what you're doing is making your energy going down, especially if you keep living. If you keep living long enough, you're going to feel the effects of food. I never met nobody who didn't. You understand? So usually when a person do get older and they start seeing a doctor, the first thing the doctor say, you need to lose some weight and all of this. And then you can remember the time where you had more energy. So everybody's dealing with health. So the benefits are, this will pay if, for number one, that you can grab a discipline, especially when you're younger. So when you get older, you won't have to go through those things because you already got disciplined on doing that. Now, when you start getting to the levels where you can go extended periods of time without food, and right now it is a fact like how they give you all the medical benefits of not eating compared to eating, it's actually easier not to eat than it is to eat. Because when you overeat, you're going to be hungry the next day. Uh-oh, here we go. And when you're eating, how should I say it? The benefits of not eating is what? You save money. You ain't got to buy all that toilet paper or whatever you're using. Your health is better. You don't have no unnecessary aches and pains, because that pain in your lower back, that pain in your knee, that's toxicity. I'm going to tell you that right now. You'll be more energetic, and I could go on and on and on. You don't have to, most of your day, you're using it on what you're going to eat. You're thinking about food. Once you remove that all out of your mind, you can live a life that you didn't even think you could, you didn't even think it exists, because you'll have the energy to carry it through, and your mind ain't always on food, because that's what animals do. Animals, all they do is look for food every day and have sex and look for where they're going to live. The human being is way more than that. You should outgrow that. Any more questions?
Namrata, any more questions?
There is. Well, Vivek says that human beings are, they have a stomach, so we are meant to eat. Animals eat too.
What's that?
Sorry, I was just muting all the participants. So I was just saying that Vivek says that we have a stomach, which we have been given in our body. So we are possibly meant to eat. So why would you say that we should not be eating?
Well, this is what the intestines, you get information on how the intestines work from people who were eating. But your intestine does more than just do what they told you it does. It works at different levels. Like right now, there's nothing in my intestines, but there's an influx of energy that I feel coming up through the body, sort of like a filament coming into the light. Any physicist on this planet will tell you that you are an energy being. Even your thoughts can be measured, and your thoughts are electricity. So when I'm coming with, I ain't saying not to eat. I'm saying you're an energy being, and there's other ways you could get energy instead of denser fossil fuels, which is dead plants and animals. So your body can behave in a whole different manner because all your organs work with energy. That's why even when you're in a hospital, they measure your heart. That's the electricity coming from it. They give you an EKG and all this other stuff. You are an energy being. You even see frequency. All you see is light. So I can go over all of that on your physical makeup. See, that's why it says know thyself. The Breatharian knowledge is telling you to go learn about yourself. You're just not on a dense, subtle level like how everybody's been operating. That slows you down, that makes you a lot denser. And again, it's a #1 proven fact that most people in a first world country is suffering from preventable diseases. And the #1 reason why they're doing it is because of what you're eating and how you're eating. If you didn't eat, that wouldn't even exist. I ain't catch a cold in 20 years. Okay, next question.
All right, over to you, Anjana.
People would like to know, how to connect with such people and from where they can learn more about this.
Oh, yeah. Now, right now, we're in a good age, like I said. I've been on this path 20 years, and for the last 5 to 6 years, not only me, but Breatharians all around the world been really coming all over the place, really getting this knowledge. So we got the internet now, so they do got Pranic World festivals all over the place. They have them in Italy, they have them in Romania, they started one in Australia, they had one in Canada. I started stuff all through America just now. All through Europe, all through Egypt, all through Israel. So this stuff is everywhere. You just have to get active, because what you seek, you shall find. If you really want to know, the information is there. Plus, we got much online retreats that's taking place now. All of this stuff is out here now. So just like vegetarianism, that started back in the 60s in the West, and it had a hard time at first, because everybody was saying, oh, you need to eat meat in order to get this and this. And now we know we outgrew that. Well, at least most people got the memo. But anyway, now this is on the scene. And it won't be long. And like I tell people, this knowledge is moving so fast that it's 2020 now. And in the next 10 years, you're going to be living in a completely different world than ever before. Not just due with the external technology, but also on the makeup of the human being. This is going to be common household knowledge. So starting now, this knowledge is everywhere. Just by following me, I catch millions by myself. So just keep a track of me, and you'll find out where the next event gonna be.
So Elitom, people want to know, what's your daily routine? What do you do morning till evening? How do you live Don't you even have a fruit once in a while? That's a specific question.
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. There was a time I said, well, my life is just like everybody else's, but no, it's not. No, it's not. This morning when the sun rose, I was up taking a nice walk to the beach, doing qigong, waving to everybody. Then I got back and talked to some more people. Then I went and did some yoga, stretching around. Then I went and started studying and learning stuff. That's my day. Then I went and started feeling my body again and took another walk, stayed out in the sunlight. That's what I do because I'm an energy being. Everything I do is energetic. Every single day. I don't sleep much. So even last night I woke up and did some stretching. Then I looked at some good chanting videos. That's all I do. Everything is energetic.
Elitom, why don't you tell them about the story, the chocolate one?
Oh, this is when I first started. Now, this is where the battle's at. This is why it's hard to see. This is a mental battle. I make it look easy because I've been doing this for 2 decades now. Perfect practice make perfect. The longer you stay in something, the more you get good at it. That's just the way it is, all right? But when I first started, you know, I'm doing my, meditations and all this other stuff. I'm fasting. I got used to it. And I said, now I'm ready to become a breatharian. So day 1 went fast, went good, and I'm full of energy. Day 2 went, and I'm full of energy. And I said, this is so easy. I should have been knew about this. And then day 3 came about, and I said, man, this is easy. But then all of a sudden, my sister came to my house, knocked on the door. Now, she never comes visit me, but she came and visited me that day. And she was doing a fundraiser for the Girl Scouts, so she had this big box of, those M&M chocolate candies. So she had a big box of those because that's what the girls were selling door to door. And she said, can I leave this box at your house? And I said, why, sure. So as she left, I'm sitting there watching TV. Then I kept looking at the big box of chocolates in the corner. I'm looking at TV. I started looking at the big box of chocolates. And before I knew it, I woke up in the morning stretching. And I got all these chocolates all over me. I said, oh man, I failed. Now this is where the fight is at. Don't be discouraged because you think you can't do it, because your mind, those external voices is going to be calling you to eat food and you feel so weak. You've been eating all of your life, and you remember what we said, perfect practice make perfect? You are a professional eater. Everybody is. We was born like that. So in the beginning stages, those external forces, you know how they say there's more power that's in us? Well, I'm going to tell you the truth about that. Let's reverse it. You ain't got no power in you. Everything that's calling you is coming from external voices. When that avocado used to be calling me, it came from outside of me. It didn't affect me when I was just sitting there. I even saw it. You understand? As soon as I saw it, I was off to the races. It was calling my name, talking to me. So you're being manipulated by external forces. And it's like some chains that's on you, invisible chains. That's where they say the spiritual people used to say you're in bondage. You're being controlled by external stimuli. So you got to start breaking those chains to where it don't affect you no more. It's sort of like a cigarette smoker. A person stopped trying to smoke cigarette, but as soon as he sees somebody smoking or see one on the ground, it will trigger something, an external force. So it's the same with the food. So don't be discouraged. That just comes along with the battle. That's why they say the battle is right here in the mind. It's the battle of Armageddon. So you're coming back now. You're meditating, cleaning yourself over again. To what? Cleanse your mind so it can start controlling your body. So your body is a good master. It's a good servant, but it makes a bad master. And everybody's bodies seem like it's controlling them right now. That's why it makes you feel like you need to do that stuff. And you don't need to do it. This is where it's at. Because your whole body, the makeup, if I was to put your body on a chalkboard, any physicist on this planet or biochemist would say you have the best body on the planet for human transformation. You got the mind and the body to do it. This is what it's dealing with. If we had it on a chalkboard, but since you're living in it, oh my God, that's a whole nother story. That's why we got to get back to discipline. You need the right knowledge, the right tools, and you can pull this off when you really be slow with yourself and start transforming yourself slowly, slowly, slowly. And it will make those changes. This is awesome, ain't it? And this is a good age we're in. A good age to make this what? Transformation.
What about someone who has type 1 diabetes? Somebody is typing in the chat. What do they do? This person is on insulin, and how can he get started?
Oh, now this is good. Now we're dealing if you already have a sickness. Now, when I tell people is still work with your doctor. Don't be foolish. You know, see what your doctor wants and stuff like this. Stay on your medication. But what you want to do is, first of all, we got to reverse on how you got the disease. It just didn't show up like some people will say something runs in their family. And I say, well, that's the problem. Nobody was running in your family. Okay, that's a joke. But anyway, when you're dealing with stuff like this, you got type 1 diabetes, you at least ain't got type 2. So that's the good part where you got to look at it. But now, right now, they're already telling you need to start changing your diet and you need to exercise. And when you start doing that and adding meditation, again, the more work you put in and the more consistent you stay, you should start seeing some improvements taking place. And when you start seeing some improvements and go to the doctor's office and get your checkups, the doctor ain't gonna argue with you when you what? When he put those things on you to get the reading, you know, for your blood pressure and stuff like this, if he see that improve, you off of it. So as I travel around the world, I always meet somebody who beat something that was chronic. I met people who beat cancer. They sure did, but I also met a lot of people who didn't beat it. Now, the difference was the people who beat it changed their lifestyle and stuck with it. They stuck with it so that they still got that same lifestyle today, even though they beat that disease. Some people just want to do something long enough until they, cured it, but in their mind, they're going to go right back to it. You can't have that type of mentality. This is a whole lifestyle change. Even dealing with the Breatharian journey, this is a lifestyle change. It ain't no, I done met the destination. It's a continuance of living in the laws. This is awesome.
So what is the best exercise that you would recommend for people to improve their energy awareness, and how much meditation do you do in a day?
Oh, now this is some good questions here. They said how much exercise or what exercise should a person start out with, and how much meditation that I do in a day. Now I'm gonna answer this in two different things. I was just working with a group where we was talking about exercises. And everybody's different, which is a good thing. So everybody, what they consider as being fun having exercise might not be fun to somebody else. Okay? So you want to get an exercise or some type of body movement that's good for you. Because if you like it, you're going to stick with it. Some people like walking. I love walking. You understand? And I love riding a bike because I do long distance biking and I love it. However, guess what? I don't like running. I don't. So if you was to tell me that I need to start running, it won't last long. I already know. And like my son, for instance, he's different than I am. He loves running. Love it. He runs marathons. Now, the only way you ever going to see me run a marathon, you're going to have to pay me. I'm serious. You pay me, then I'll run a marathon. Other than that, I'll never see it happen. Now, this is a good thing about it. Even if you wanted to run a marathon, we got so much information on the internet, you can even look up how to prepare to run a marathon. They'll tell you step by step how to run a marathon. So just like on a pranic journey, this is still step by step, just like anything else you're learning. So pick an exercise that's good for you. It could be walking, it could be running, it could be jumping jacks, it could be calisthenics, it could be yoga. Anything that you really like, you're going to stick with it and explore that avenue so it can start transforming your body and giving you some movement. Now you ask me what meditation I do and how long. That won't really do you no good because I'm part of this. This is my life is a walking meditation. See, when you first start out, you might start out doing a meditation from this hour to this hour every day. That shows that you got a discipline in your lifestyle. When this becomes part of your identity, like me, there is no set times. I don't even know what time it is. It ain't like I got to go rush to work, or I'm in some relationship where I got to go pick up the kids. You understand? I'm in a whole nother beat. So try to copy off the meditations I do and what hour, that's not going to do you no good. See, I'm so in tune with my body, I know when it needs to go meditate. You understand? It's just like when you got your cell phone. It's just like when you got your cell phone. Oh, hold on for 1 second. And your cell phone is on, needs to be charged up. It's at 20%. You know that. So you go charge it up and you know how long to charge it. So it's the same way when you are really in tune with your body. When you can feel your energy a certain way, I know when to go charge it up. The average person don't know yet, so you need to get set times for yourself until you get more into the strength of yourself. Did that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I think that takes care of all the questions we had in the chat so far. Anjana, over to you, and then we'll close.
All right.
Elitom, I would like you to share the story with your son also. Can you hear me?
Now, which one is that? When I was raising him?
No, when you saw him off.
Oh, now some people will say, well, when the last time you ate that physical food?
Right, exactly.
Well,
that's
one time
right.
me and my son, we was traveling together. Now, mind you, I did many times going long periods without no food and stuff like this. That's why this is a skill that you can pick it up or put it down. That's one point. Now, one time we was traveling and he was going back to America and we was over in Europe. So I don't know when the next time I'll see him. And he said, well, Dad, let's have our last going away meal. And I said, all right. So this is like in 2017. Now, of course, I didn't know what to get. So I seen all these different types of potato chips. We in the supermarket, there was chips I never tasted before. So I'm grabbing all these bags. Oh, let me try this. Let me try that. My eyes was bigger than my stomach. You ever hear that saying? So anyway, we chowing down too. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to tell you this. If you ain't eaten a long time, you can eat a lot. I surprised myself. Chowing down. And I'm like, oh, this is good. Your taste buds is online. You can taste everything. Matter of fact, I feel sorry for people who eat every day. You ain't even tasting the food. Serious. I think you're wasting your time eating every day. You should give yourself time so you can what? The taste buds can come online so you can really taste the food. You ain't even tasting it. So it was good, right? So now that night, that night came about. I was like, oh, Lord. I was like a snake with a big bowl in it. And I couldn't even lay down either because acid reflux kept coming up. I kept tasting the potato chips. So I had to sit up like this and I was hurting. My feet were swelled up and I was just like crying. I was like, oh man, I'll never do this again. This is messed up. And it kept coming up. And even when I went to go use the bathroom, it was hurting. It was coming out like, oh, I was crying with a tear in my eye. So anyway, that night was a long night, okay? But by the morning, I felt better. You know, weeping may cry endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. So in the morning, I felt better. Now, I admit, to get everything to go through the system quicker, I was drinking that day, drinking all the favorite juices, you know, to get that stuff through. But in 3 days, I was back to normal again, like I really like to feel. That's why this is a feeling state. Once you start getting to these levels and really feel how it feels, you don't want to go back to that denser level. You don't even want to stay there. So that's why you start weighing the two. Because the person asked earlier, well, why do you want to go without eating? You know, what is the benefits? Once you feel that other benefit, that's why it's a feeling state. So that's why in spirituality, it makes sense now. They say you want to develop a sixth sense. We got our five senses, and your five senses is what you're using for physical reality. So that's why it can't really lead you to the spiritual realm. It don't know. But your sixth sense, the development of that is a feeling state, and that's what deals with the invisible subtle energies. So it can feel them. You know, you're more alive. You can feel a fly that lands on your shoulder because you're sensitive now. You understand? You can feel your toes. You can breathe through your feet. All this stuff takes place. You're a living being. You're breathing with your whole body. That's how it is. So when you start clogging it up, you feel it everywhere. You don't want that to happen no more. So it's a whole nother ball game. You basically expanded your consciousness. So we're using that word, but people don't know what that meant. That really means. I was just recently doing some stretching, and I got my leg to a point where it bends even more than before. But just by it moving just to that frequency, that shows that my spinal cord changed. So my thinking started changing. I got even more happier than what I am now. Because I'm a living consciousness. Remember what I said earlier? Every change you make on a physical body changes your mental body. So that means a bigger influx. I just expanded my consciousness. It's just as simple as that. So therefore, the way I'm looking at the world even changed even more. And I was walking today. Everywhere I was walking, people was waving out of nowhere. Even a dog was waving. It was across the street. I'm serious. This is something. You're living in a paradise. That's the way you're looking at things. All right. Anybody else?
Why don't you sing that line for them?
Oh, sing the line. Oh, it's a wonderful world. Oh, my God. Angel want me to start singing now. Oh. You got me blushing now. I already got on red.
It's a wonderful world.
Absolutely. Now, I hope people got a lot out of this, because, like we said, this is for everybody, but start where you at. Don't try to start too fast, but this is a health message. Because what it boils down to is, when you can maintain a frequency or a vibration of health, you'll have a better overall life. That's what it boils down to. There is no in between. That's the Breatharian journey.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Anjana, for getting Elitom for us. People are interested on this journey. They will probably be in touch with you, and they will look up your website and start following you. We will keep you posted in case there are plans to make this recording available. Thank everyone so much. Thanks, Elitom. Have a lovely Earth Day.
All right.
And you can tell,
1 sec.
for every